Good morning. It's Saturday, August 25th. Got up. I've been awake for a couple hours? A few hours? But I got a text from my mom. She's up. She's getting ready. And I'm gonna head over there. And we're just gonna check out some garage sales, because why not? Garage sales are fun. So we went to a sale where some guys selling frames and paintings and such that basically, from the appearance, is probably something he's probably sold online. Sounds like basically he's moving, and therefore the largest stuff he doesn't want to move with him, so he's just selling it really cheap online or at a garage sale. So Mom got a painting that she was having trouble deciding if she wanted to get her out. Eventually I was just like, you get it, and if you decide you don't like it, then it can be a birthday gift. Someone liked angels. More, and even more. Now we're back at my mom's to pick up my nephew. Go out to eat. Going to Gingham's for breakfast. So back to the sample platter. Ethan got it too, though his is a little less samplery. Mom got the omelet this time. It was alright last time. And food was good, of course, but before returning home to work on some stuff, since I'm hanging out with Mom and my nephew, we'll play a game. I got myself my own little Abbott row.
You do.
I finished your road for you. Oh, you're putting your Abbott over by mine? Yeah, come on. Come join me. Well, I'll complete the area together.
Look. And we all get points. You just get 3 times the amount I do.
That's what I'm thinking. I can't fit it in the row, but it's still funny that I drew another one.
How do you do that? They're all together.
This isn't fair. You mixed up the hand, the deck.
Yeah.
He set himself up, didn't he?
Sure.
You can pull from whatever one you want, man.
Well, I'm gonna pull from them like a road now, and then you.
Yeah, you probably were.
Yeah.
Which is because it's random. Ethan's trying to snake all of Mom's cities. What a snake. And my final tile is also rubbish.
How long do you want?
Well, I'll just put it here, because that'll give me an extra point.
Right in here.
And now from
Right there?
Yeah.
her at 47, me at 52, and Ethan at 56. We'll add up the points on the board and see where we end up. And so basically, because I did farming and no one else did, Ethan ends at 76. Mom got to 80, and then I am at 97.
It wasn't a real huge variance. I wasn't that. I mean, I thought I was like a board away.
I told you, you had a lot of points on the board. But yeah, farming definitely won that, because I started noticing there were a few of these smaller cities in different areas, and so I started putting farmers around those, because small cities great for farmers. They're massive cities that never get completed, don't do me anything.
Oh, okay.
Oh dear Lord, it's hot out. Fun times with family, home now. Gotta finish up Mordenkainen's and hopefully get that video filmed today. I'm very scared right now. I just, I finished the book. Had to sort of sit around, get the room ready to film. Took some ibuprofen because I'm having a bit of a headache. Got ready, finally sat down and filmed it. It's been a few hours. But I just finished filming my review of Mordenkainen's Tome. It's probably a 35 minute long video. And I walk over to the computer and I click to end the recording for the webcam. Obviously the footage here works just fine. But the webcam captures not only the, the part of me before and after showing the book, but it's the better source of audio. And I got a little pop-up saying that there's an error. Now, that could be that the software closed the file, finished, and then when trying to return to be able to be ready to record again, had an error. Or that could be that the file was trying to be saved and it failed to do so. Please, God, help it to be saved and for me not to have to redo all of that. I mean, it could be worse. Could be a lot worse. That is the program that I rely on when I film the game with my friends, to have a constant video so that we actually have our video there. If it failed during one of those, that is not so easy to redo. Whereas this, I mean, it's time and energy that I don't want to respend, but could be redone. The idea that this can mess up is scary, particularly for the idea of, what if this happens again? Anyway, so I'm going to try and sort that out. There are gnats in the room, and a lot of them are really tiny, which suggests they're baby gnats. Which means some gnat had babies. I hate that. I don't like when they reproduce. I like when they die off. As of yesterday, I was thinking, gee, there's a lot less gnats. Today I'm in here and thinking, gee, why are there new gnats? Oh, praise God. So that error is still up on the screen, but I opened the file that was supposed to export, and it plays, and it skips around, and it seems to be functional, so I appear to still have the file. It appears to be the issue where it's just the software glitching, but it still made the video fine. Thank you, Jesus. Because, yeah, that would not... my throat's a bit irritated. Like, I would almost hope to film another video. I have a video that I don't really need anything else to film. But I'm like, nah, my throat's a bit irritated. I don't think I can do that right now. But, it's like, I would hope to film that, but I'm just not up to it. So, I really didn't want to have to refilm this one. Yeah, I got files all working over on the computer. Everything seems to be fine. It is lovely seeing this ever-growing stack of books. I'd like to get some of the adventure paths. If for nothing else, then they would look beautiful along with these. But because that's one of the large reasons that I want them, and less because I'm not going to run the adventure. I don't often spend the money on them. I would at some point like to do so. I think I have one of them. Yeah, I have one of them. But not here. Austin has it. A few years back, Austin was running a game, and I got that for him, and the game came to a close. Man, I don't think he ever actually got to the point where he was using very much of the material from the book. But basically, I bought it to help him have something to work off of, and it was the second of the the one with Tiamat, the first adventure path that came out in 2 separate books. But yeah, so I have that. It's not here. I was telling him, I was like, if you're not gonna ever continue that game, I'd like that back. It'd look really nice here on my shelf. But usually when he comes over to game, he comes straight from work, so it doesn't exactly come from his house where the book was. So, anyways, still, books look pretty on the shelf as it is. When I get enough of them, I'll actually be able to run, have them across the shelf. But until then, oh well. But I'm sitting here thinking, well, what do I want to do next? Because the next book that comes out that I'm probably going to read to review is probably going to be the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. Because the couple of books that come out between now and then are adventure paths. And like I said, I don't really run those, so that'll probably be the next book I get, and that's mid to late November. So it's mid-late August, so September, October, November. A little shy of 3 months. So I'm thinking, well, what do I want to do on that? Basically, this book took me around 3 months to read. I don't really want to have that kind of time pressure, because some of that was a bit of a pressured bit of time to read through it. But still kind of thinking, you know, it'd be good to start something else. And I have my little shelf here of books that I'm like, at some point I'm going to do things with. I have an unboxing that requires a lot more work than I can easily do. I have some map and drawing sort of books, but I want to get a few more of them and just sort of review like a grouping of here are things that are useful for you, here are things that are not. Just sort of, because they're not really role-playing game books. I mean, this one kind of is, but really they're fantasy. And they're fun, and I enjoy having them, but I want to get a group of them, and there's a number of other ones that I'm slowly gathering, and eventually I'll do something with. But I have other books here. Tales from the Loop. Looks to be great fun. But until I'm gonna run it, I don't really want to read it. I don't think I'm gonna read that one cover to cover. That one would probably be one that I'd hope to run a little bit and then review from that. On the other side of things, same thing for Starfinder. I would love to read through The Dark Eye. I actually feel like I have an obligation at some point to read through The Dark Eye and to run a game on my channel for The Dark Eye. That was bought to me by a viewer. They purchased that and a couple other books that go with it. And it looks cool. But it looks complex. And I may not cover to cover read that. That might be one that I read for understanding the game. But I'm not near ending my current campaign. And I'll probably have at least one more other campaign in between the one I'm running and when I get to that. So I feel like I want to have it more fresh in my mind when I actually finally run it. So I'm not thinking I'm going to do that right now. I have some Fantasy Age stuff. Could be fun to read. But again, that's a different system altogether. I'm not really gonna run that right now. Speaking of other systems, I could read and review this book. I've actually reviewed a couple of other books, and I review them as I enjoy them. But it's never a game I've ran. And with my current group of friends and that I play with, it's not one that I'm probably going to run anytime soon, because they don't care to play as the Doctor or his companions. But I still kind of slowly collect the books because I enjoy them, even not playing the game. And depending on how life goes, I may at some point play with others. Who knows? I have The End of the World, Wrath of the Gods. But I also have Zombie Apocalypse, that I don't think I've ever reviewed. And there are 2 other books in that series that I want to get while they're still available. And then I kind of want to do sort of an overall review of the series as the group of books as a whole. I ran Zombie Apocalypse once for my friends. It was fun. They quickly figured out how to beat the system, but it was still enjoyable. And so that leaves me to the middle of this grouping of books. To these 3 books that are all based on 5th edition. I have Adventures in Middle-earth Player's Guide, Gods and Goddesses, a 5th edition supplement, and Underworld Races and Classes. This is altering the rules enough that basically I need to read through it all the way, and that I need at least one other book. I'd like a few others in order to do much with, so not that one right now. So it's between these 2, which are 2 books that I got from Kickstarter. And I'll tell you, if you look at my gaming channel early on, a lot of the stuff I reviewed were things I got off Kickstarter, so I am totally fine to do that. between those two, I'm going to do Underworld Races and Classes. And largely, it's because I'm not going to read it cover to cover. When I open the book, you know, it goes into, oh, here are the races. And like, here is a race. And it gives you your race information. And then it gives you the traits. And it gives you some feats and other crunchy stuff. And then it goes on to the next race. And eventually there are classes as well. I am going to skip a lot of, not all of, but a lot of the fluff. And I should be able to make my way through the book a little quicker. Furthermore, the font in this book is larger than normal, although the margins are smaller. So I'm hoping it'll go kind of quick. Basically just trying to choose the book based on I should be able to get through it quick. It's a book that I considered before running my current campaign because it takes place in the Underdark. I mean, this could have been useful. But I read through little bits of it and just decided, you know what? No. I bought it knowing that I was going to do this campaign, thinking it would be useful, and I decided against it. But I didn't really read through it, so I want to get a further idea about the book. So today I'm going to start reading Underworld Races and Classes. Never mind. I'm not going to be reading through this one to review it. I might do one of the other books I'd mentioned. I might not. I don't really know. It's been about an hour. Just sat down and reading through this. Starting with the first couple of races that each had like either a subclass or a variant class with them. And then eventually, when I started to feel like, am I going to be able to do this? Skipping around and deciding no. I don't want to put up a video on that gaming channel that is more negative than positive. And the book is beautiful. There's some cool... of course, I'm not flipping to any art pages. But when we get to art, there are beautiful bits of art in here. So that is definitely a positive. And I knew going in that, like, the margining, like the actual page layout, was a bit of a negative. But I hadn't really read through too much. And it's not strictly bad. If you are wanting to play a Underworld game that is incredibly unique from a standard Underdark campaign, this might be for you. If you want to play something that feels like 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, this is not for you. Just the way races are developed. They're not balanced with the core races, which really feels bad, like for the drow that says, use the normal drow stuff. I'm like, but that's not balanced to this. They throw around not just a few resistances on some of the races, but others are, like, you get immunity to some things just from your race. But they also throw around incredible, not just, sunlight sensitivity, but some of them have things like where you get in sunlight, you just start taking damage. Some of them, like this vampire-ish one, it's like you have to drink blood that basically you could be having to go out and kill people, like forced kill people, in order to not take debilitating exhaustion. Its exhaustion is, like, can kill you. Yeah, it's actually one of the things it eventually does. And so that was, the thing, and then, I look at a class, and at a point here, one of the things that really had me down is this is based on a monk. It's a class that's based on a monk, and they make that clear. But here when they say to reference page 65 of System Reference Document 5.1, they so wanted to give you a key point of page to look for weapons that they reference the system reference document. They can't reference, based on the open game license, they can't reference where it is in the player's handbook. So just say, in the weapons section of the core rules, you don't reference this SRD. No one actually uses that to... Only us, as developing things, are using that. And a lot of things are heavily worded. I mean, however that name is pronounced, takes 20 radiant damage when it starts its turn in sunlight. What? What? It's just that's just one of your racial features. 20 damage per turn if you're in sunlight. What? No, this is just... I mean, it's interesting, and they were trying some stuff. But they don't know... It feels like they just didn't think about the aesthetic and way that 5th edition was designed, reasons that 5th edition did things. So... I could say some positive things about this book in a review, and I could make it work. But the negative things I have to say are about the way that it just doesn't fit with 5th edition, which are things that are going to keep me from using it. Which I guess I should have known. I'm running an Underdark campaign and chose not to use it from the little bits that I'd looked at it before, from before. But really, that was just because... Originally, the reason I just chose not to use it is because, I mean, they have their cool races, and they got some cool races, alligator people, fungus people, and even that one that I just mentioned, the undead gnome banditos. They have some cool races, some cool aesthetics. And the art is definitely what drew me into it. However, the way that things are actually developed just doesn't fit with what I wanted for 5th edition. It's cool. It's inspirational, but it's not... While I'm still so enjoying 5th edition rules, it just doesn't fit. Kind of made me sad. But I guess, therefore, I'm not going to be running or reviewing that or making that. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Well, I guess since it no longer goes on the to make content based on shelf, it can now sit here on the 5th edition shelf. It is still technically a 5th edition product. I'm not denying that of it. It just doesn't meet the aesthetic that I wanted out of it. Oh well. That left me so sad because I'd wanted something better out of it than it was. But it is what it is. And for the most part, if you are running an Underdark campaign where you never have them go to the surface because things are taking damage from the surface, but the crystal race, it gets all sorts of benefits if it can get up into sunlight. So I mean, it's kind of some races want to get into sunlight, other races want to stay away from it forever. I'm like, well, what are you gonna do? But yeah, you're gonna run an Underdark campaign. Essentially, the idea would be everyone should be from that book. That book's races and classes and such. And it does seem to be mostly internally balanced. At least enough to be functional. It just doesn't mix with the stuff from the core rules very well. Oh well. I'm getting hungry again. I'm Probably just gonna get McDonald's, which is boring, but it's cheap and easy. And I got distracted talking to Ryan on Discord a bit, so it's like after 10 and I just now got here to McDonald's to pick up something to eat. But basically I'm gonna take it home, eat, and get right to bed. Cause it's late, I'm tired. Thank you for joining me. Join me as my journey continues.